This is how Rue used to come into the room and he'd go, "Hi Pandora, it's really nice to meet you." And now he's like, "Hi Queens." Oh, was my Chrissy out? Okay.
He's like, "Hi Queens, make me some coin." Hi everyone, I'm Pop Tart.
And I'm Miss Serotonin.
And welcome to Tea Time with Pop and Sarah. Aww.
Hi Hens, welcome to Tea Time with Pop and Sarah. On this episode, we're going to be talking about Drag Race's impact. Yes. What it has and hasn't done for our community.
Honestly, Hen, there is a lot to work through on this one.
There is going to be a lot of tea, so I'd like to take a second to introduce our newest cast member, Patricia, because that's the tea, Hens, and it's a hen teapot. Thank you to the Witch Blair for giving it to me. I'm going to put vodka in it, so if I get slightly drunk throughout the filming, that's why. So I'm ready.
That's your excuse for your professionalism.
I'm ready for the tea, Hen.
Honestly, there's so much, like, especially when we get on to fucking season 11, still annoyed about Nina being eliminated, but we'll get on to that because I'm livid. There's a lot of rage in this Club Kid body today. So we'll go from season 1 when they filmed it in the garage and one of the guest cast was that ladder in the shot. Like, why did they leave that ladder in the shot? Like, the casting now.
The Vaseline on the lens as well. Like,
Rupaul dropped his contour onto it and then that's a thing. But I loved season 1. Obviously, it was still hokey pokey budget.
It was it was finding itself.
Yeah.
And in fairness, and this is what we're going to talk about in this episode, is that it made drag mainstream.
Yeah.
That's what it's done. It's taken 11 years, but it made drag mainstream. Yeah. But it's also ostracised drag into a very certain way.
Yeah. So obviously season 1 had like the likes of like one of my all-time favourite queens, Tammy Brown. She had like hair, Nina, Phoebe,
Nina Flowers,
Nina Flowers.
China.
Like some absolute classic queens. And like even though the budget was low and everything like that, like honestly, it started off something amazing. And then when they started getting more budget in like seasons 2 and 3, and that is probably the most organic Drag Race ever was, 2 and 3.
Oh yeah, because 1, 2 and 3 I think were very raw.
Yeah.
We're putting queens in a room. But I was
real drama as well.
Oh yeah, because I was listening to Race Chaser, which is a podcast that Willem and Alaska do. And I think it was Angina that was on there that was saying that they were actually... Angina was saying on Willem and Alaska's podcast that they were originally told that it was a pageant, series 1, and they could bring someone with them, like to do the makeup and the costumes. It was a pageant, is what they got told. Yeah. And when they got there, it was this reality competition show. So the hype leading up to it wasn't what was actually the final product, and I think that proves how Drag Race has changed in its evolution. I think the biggest change that I could see was from Series 4 to Series 5.
I think from 6 to 7, personally. With like season 2 and 3 though, like I thought the drama was like organic, it was real. The relationships were real, not set up kind of like stories like they do now. Like, you know when a queen's gonna go home, because they talk about how they fell into a bus once. Sorry, Roxy Andrews. Like...
It's even the way that they used to film it as well, like talking about like the organicness of it all. Like they used to do those cutaway shots to them waking up in the morning. Like, do you remember
and actually like shaving the beards.
And shaving, exactly. And it wasn't.
And Rue knew their names.
Like he used to hug all of the queens. He used to know them all by name, say hello to him, and now he's like, right, I'm here for a check and another Emmy. Like literally. And I adore Drag Race. Like I really like it as a whole. But Hens. The tea is, it's overproduced now.
Yeah.
It's gone from organicness, as you were saying, and raw drag.
Yeah.
With some great drag queens that showed so many different sides.
And I mean, the thing is, there still is great queens in it, but I don't think it allows them to show themselves as good sides. And also, everyone judges it way too much on kind of like how expensive their costume is, rather than actually what the talent they show. And like, but you were saying earlier, like you said about the biggest sort of change of seasons. What do you think is? Would you say?
I think the biggest change is either from, it's probably Series 4 to Series 5.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, ignoring Series 1 because it was the lost season for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of people say that's because they never actually got permission for the songs that they used in Series 1. But then when VH1 took over from Drag Race, VH1 did.
Yes.
And that's why it went back on Netflix and iTunes and everything. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
I imagine it would be because it wasn't on for a while.
Yeah. But Series 1 is the lost season, it doesn't really count. It was essentially the pilot, really, you know. Series 2 and 3 were very early raw drag, like who you thought, like now Tyra wouldn't have won.
No, she wouldn't have won.
Because she was too much of a bitch.
Yeah.
She was absolutely amazing,
yeah.
But it shifted from what the winner is now. It used to be like a look and a queen.
They can just edit how they want to view a queen.
Exactly.
Even if they had a front runner, they can edit them, say, oh, like, look how much of a cow they are. And because, like, obviously they don't film it all at once at the end now, they actually pre-record different endings. They can judge during the kind of season who thinks is going to win it.
Exactly.
Like, Silky is never going to win it because she's too hated.
No.
But
on that, and like the biggest change to me was Series 4, because I think in Series 4 you started to get very little hints at produceness.
Yes.
Not as much as Series 5, and then even more in Series 6.
Well, like in Series 4, like Fifi and Sharon didn't even hate each other. They
made that argument up. Like, they even admitted to making that argument in the same way that Gia had said that she made that argument up in All Stars with Trinity.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, like they made that whole thing up. That whole bit about wearing the same costume for Snatch Game. It was all made up because people play the game now. That's the point.
Yeah, and that's the problem with Drag
exactly.
Race.
It's gone from that rawness of actually seeing, because like fucking what's her face, Morgan McMichaels and Stacey Lane. No, not Stacey Lane.
Mystique.
Mystique. They hated each other, and you could tell.
Yeah,
they were from Chicago. Like they did not like each other. But now, even like the little fights, I'm like, nah.
It's just like.
I'm bored.
Yeah, it's just the thing is it's so kind of like produced to a point where like every bit of drama that happens, it's like it's just not real. They just kind of like purposely sort of give someone an edit. They purposely say like, oh, these people hate each other, like pinning them against each other. Like the whole Miss Cracker Aquaria thing was just ridiculous, for example. And like it's just so obvious who's gonna go home each week. So you think, oh. They're just setting them up to like fail, and
you
like
can tell in the episode as well how much screen time have they got. Yeah. What are their confessionals
what the lip sync
like?
song is. They're purposely like, for example, giving Vanjie and Silky songs they're going to sell at.
Don't start me on this. First off, bloody Scarlett goes home
when she clearly won.
No, absolute bullshit. Then they send Sugar home, and she shouldn't have even been in the bottom two.
She was in the winning team, but still was in the bottom.
On ridiculous. And then they sent home Nina, and who again I don't think should have been in the bottom.
No.
I love Evie, and I am so glad that Drag Race is showing that type of drag at last. But I personally think she deserved to be in the bottom two. I like the outfit, but the whole look, it just didn't really
But the thing is, I just think, like, what I like about drag is the fact it represents everything, from, like, the glamour side of, like, that, what they do, this alternative, to kind of, like, the really sort of edgy. And, like, I'm not being funny, but I know Sasha Velour won and she was brilliant and the Evie's really, like, out there. But, like, that's just two little bits of representation.
Yeah,
like,
and
come on, it's not really that committed.
And art queens, she's not that extreme.
And I also think, I've seen way more extreme.
Exactly.
And like Evie and like Sasha, unbelievable, brilliant artists. I mean, they are like creme de la creme, like the Drag Race in terms of alternative. But like I've seen so many people do extreme things, and people are acting as if like Evie invented alternative. And this is not me slamming Evie. She didn't invent alternative.
No, I love Evie. I
didn't. I'm not saying that either.
Like. But the problem with Drag Race is, and this is its impact of what it's had. Real tea, hens. The thing is that Drag Race has made drag mainstream.
Yeah.
Like, and that's great. It's proven to people that drag is a viable career option.
That people who do it are talented.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that you can do. It's not easy, but you can do it. But what it's also done is it's shown what we were saying in the TV's episode, is that little twinks that don't know their history think that that's the only way you can do drag. You don't exist.
Then they comment on people's things like saying like, I honestly,
you should contour, you should
as much
do
as like
this.
I hated Silky's like look this week, I would never go onto a thing and comment, meh, oh you look shit, you don't deserve to be there. It's disgusting.
The drag race community is toxic as fuck.
And extremely racist.
It's racist, transphobic, borderline homophobic at points.
Yeah, very
to be
internalized
honest.
homophobia.
Like, it's great. Drag is now a multi-million-dollar industry. Brilliant. The likes of DragCon and Drag World in the UK.
And I'm really glad for that.
Amazing. I'm so glad that it's proving to people that you can do it for a career.
And the fact is that giving us the confidence to do this kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like, if Drag Race would not, if Drag Race and all those sort of things, we wouldn't have the confidence to sit here and do this. Which,
and there's always praise for that part of drag. But what I cannot stand about Drag Race is the look it pushes. It's always feminine fishy, and it's always pageantry to a certain extent. There's always a pageant element, and they always say to someone, even if it's a weird out there, like Acid Betty, it was always like, oh, I'd love to see you try and do a fishy look.
And it's like, stop pushing that agenda. That's glamour in their sort of like sense. And I thought she was very glamorous and Betty.
And you can also tell why this has changed. I'm annoyed now. You can also tell the reasoning how much it's changed, because in Michelle's first season, she said, oh, I love androgyny drag.
And now look at her.
And now look at her. She's like, oh no, it's got to be fishy, you're not wearing a corset. Because Drag Race has made drag that type of drag now. That's marketable.
And I tell you what,
it isn't.
And I tell you what's like a really annoying thing for me is the fact of like they expect, because these people on Drag Race, like Honey Davenport took out a $20,000 when they episode 3. They expect local queens to have that budget and to look like that, and it's like, I do not have that budget.
And you can
I have like
see
20,
that.
30 quid for an outfit.
You can see that in Vanjie. Like, she went home the first episode of Series 10, got all the Drag Race money, and turned back to Season 11 with some great outfits. Yeah, they're all bodysuits.
But they look still
But they're great outfits.
Really good.
Like,
and it's just like, I hate this kind of thing of like, especially Drag Race fans, they watch a few seasons
toxic.
And like they don't really have any sort of like a vision of like what other drag history is and like parts of it, and they go, oh, what's that weirdo drag there? Comment on people, think they can comment on people's Instagrams thinking they're some fucking expert. And it's like, well, why don't you go and put on a fucking wig and go on stage and perform then?
Do drag. I am sick to death of people going, oh yeah, well, like, that wig is too far up your forehead, or it's like, meh. Fuck off. You don't do drag. Who says what drag can and can't be?
Exactly.
Me. But to me, not to everyone else. I make the rules for my drag in the same way you make them. If I don't want to wear heels and I want to put Zumba shoes on, so fucking what?
Yeah, you were comfortable at Lincoln Pride, to be fair.
I was having a whale of a time, because I weren't in these.
Exactly.
Like, the thing is that Drag Race isn't the only type of drag.
And it didn't create drag with a lot of people think.
And also, I'll tell you this right now, this is another rant with serotonin. Welcome. I will not have the fact that people discredit drag kings, because I won't have it, because drag kings are the tea, bio queens, and trans queens. Being trans and doing drag is not the same thing. Trans is who you are. Drag is a choice in a lifestyle way of like living and doing things. Like, drag is performance. Drag is having fun. Trans is who you are. We get to take this off at the end of the day. Trans people don't. That's who they are. That's how they were born. It's who they are. And things like Drag Race ostracize that. The way that Ru held up that trans flag in the latest episode, he was like, fuck off. Like, and what really bugs me about it with Ru is the fact that at places like Suzanne Barshi's parties with the club kid scene, where he made his start,
like Amanda Lepore and people like that,
half the queens he worked with are trans.
It's such an ignorant viewpoint.
It's so ridiculous, because it's to you not marketable, and because realty, because the demographic for Drag Race is 12 to 14-year-old straight girls, they feel that that's too heavy to push trans. Bullshit! It's our community.
If you
Stop selling our community up the river.
And if you want to be part of our community, accept everybody who's in the community.
No turfs on our turf.
No turfs.
I am not having it. RuPaul would have a heart attack down Canal Street in Manchester with all the signs that say no turfs on our turf, because he is the turf.
But that's the thing, like,
I hate it.
I feel kind of sad in a way for the people who watch Drag Race and to get such a myopic view of drag, because there is so many queens and so many amazing sort of drag kings queens. Like,
Bunny.
people, yeah.
Bunny, like one of our close friends, Bunny, like who does the Scene Queens at Lincoln, is a bio queen. Yeah. Why is that not any better or just as good as the rest of us?
Yeah.
Just because she's biologically a woman. Who cares?
And I feel sorry for them because they don't get to experience the full sort of like thing of drag. They go, oh, look at that fishy queen, she's amazing. Like, yeah, she's brilliant. She's very talented. She's done very well for herself. But she's in that position because she's marketable. And it's like, a Drag Race wants that sort of people. And like, I think even though I have a marketing degree, and I'm like, I love the fact of like, I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant. I can't swim. Like, it's brilliant how they've made it in such a marketable thing and such a sort of like a business venture for people like me and you. Obviously, I don't know if we'll ever make any real money out of it, but you never know.
We have
the opportunity to do so. That's
because of Drag Race. Drag Race has given us the opportunity.
But at the same time, I think it's lost its soul a lot because it's become a marketing sort of like scheme now.
100%.
And it's like, I think there's just a big opinion for me is just way too much content now. I used to feel like, oh, there's not enough. Now it's way too much. It's just back-to-back All-Stars and like there's no sort of room to breathe.
Series 10 All-Stars 3. No, Series 10 All-Stars 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Season 11, Drag Race UK, and then it will be All-Stars 5.
Yeah.
Like, that is too much. There's no excitement anymore in Drag Race because it's a money-making machine now. And that's what you mean by it's losing its soul, is the fact that it's gone from something that I was genuinely interested in.
Excited.
What the looks are going to be, who's on it this season.
Like,
I don't care anymore.
I just watch it because I'm in too deep now.
Literally.
I'm like, I've watched the 11 seasons now, I might as well just finish it until it's like done for good.
I reckon it'll get 5-6 more series.
I think so too.
And then that'll be it.
I think it'll be on for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's really popular now, but like everything, it becomes stale, and it's becoming stale. The people who watched it from like the very beginning are noticing how stale it is. Like,
I think also the people that have watched it from the beginning realise how produced it is now.
Yeah, but they keep pushing for certain queens they want to win with, and then forget the ones who are actually like everyone likes. But look at Nina. Like, they want a big girl winner. Why not push Nina?
She was the
Silky
best
is so likeable.
To go through that system in such a long time, and she was done so dirty. But unfortunately, that's the issue with shows like this now. It's done amazing things for our community. It really, really has. Like, the fact that it's pushed drag as mainstream, the fact that it's made LGBT people prominent on mainstream American TV, which isn't easy to do, but it's also ostracised the way that we look at our community.
Yes.
Because if you've got someone like RuPaul who's very well known, and a lot of people look up to him as a role model, saying that trans people aren't good enough, young, easily impressionable people are going to believe that, and that's not right. If you're in a position of power, you should use that to fight for our community.
Yeah.
And that's the tea. That is the tea.
That is the fucking tea. So, you know, like, as much as I adore Drag Race, alright, I still love it. I just don't love it as much anymore.
It's
like,
lost its heart.
It has, and it's like when I first started out doing my sort of drag and stuff like that, like, a lot of the reason why people were so negative to me is because of the attitudes from that.
Exactly.
And it's just like, so I do have a little bit of kind of like a bug to bear with it. I'd never go on anything like Drag Race. I mean, look at me.
Oh,
like,
no.
I never would anyway.
I wouldn't want to be honest. I really don't think I'd want to.
I enjoy drag and performing for like myself and fun. But like, and you know what, if I end up getting booked more gigs and it's got more sort of like full-time, whatever, that's really cool, but also I just like the enjoyment of it.
Exactly.
And I think other people, like Drag Race fans who don't know fuck all, take it seriously for us.
And they see
it's like, go away.
Honestly, and they see it as the only... They see it as the only type of drag as well, and like the standard. That's what really annoys me. Is like they expect the first time for you to be in drag that you look like bloody like Nina Flowers, who's been doing it for 15 years plus. Like,
one and a bit.
People change their drag. Like, people's drag changes. It gets better with time.
Yeah.
You're not everybody's bloody Jeffree Star day one.
Yeah.
You know?
But that was a very in-depth kind of like, we probably were more negative than positive, but to be honest, I think it's more constructive.
It has done so much for our community, it really has, but it's got a lot more to do.
Yeah, and it's, I'm just getting fed up.
I'm bored.
I'm bored. I prefer watching Pose, to be honest. I'm just waiting for season 2. Like, there's other things that I'm more interested in. I think it's done it very well, but it's had its day.
Exactly. Quite like us, to be honest.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, Hens.
Yeah? It was very fun, honey.
Yeah. Comment down below your least favourite and most favourite parts of Drag Race ever over all of the seasons.
Yes.
There's a lot of them. And like and subscribe.
There's a lot of moments you could talk about there, Henny. And don't forget Untucked as well. Talk about that. So, T. We didn't really touch upon Untucked, did we? But I'm a bit mad about it now anyway, so fuck it. Can't be asked to talk about it.
Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.
See you later, Hens.
Bye, Hens. Can you see Patricia? Is she hidden?
Yeah, she's hidden.
Like on the camera?
Yes.
Introducing a new cast member.
No, but because there will be a lot of tea during Drag Race.
My nose is itching, but I can't scratch it.
Absolutely.
Clap!
Absolutely adores.
Download Paris Hilton Clap on iTunes.
Not by Cal the Clown.
Leave Cal alone, he's producing things for me. You'll see on my Instagram at some point.